Hey, this is Alan Schimmel, Devops.com's Devops TV, and we're here at IBM InterConnect 2017, Day 3, and I'm happy to be joined by Lubos Parobek, VP of Product for Source Labs.
Hey, Alan. Great to be here.
Great to see you here, man. So, Lubos, Source Labs is a friend of Devops.com. We work with the folks there quite a bit. Maybe someone doesn't know about who Source Labs is in our audience. Why don't you give them a quick...
Absolutely. So what Sauce Labs does is we provide an automated testing platform for web and mobile apps. So if you're facing challenges in terms of spinning up all the operating systems and browsers you want to test against, or all the mobile devices, Android and iOS devices you need to test against, we provide those in the cloud and basically provide access to those via Selenium and Appium.
Yep. So, Lubos, whenever I hear the Source Labs story, I'm reminded of back in my days at Still Secure, where we were developing InfoSec, vulnerability management and stuff like that. In order to get our, products done, we had to get some scalability testing and, try to do that in an automated manner back. This is in the mid 2000s, 2005. And we didn't have a lab big enough to simulate hundreds, let alone thousands of devices.
Absolutely.
And so you would go to an outsourcer who can provide you, and they weren't even virtualized. They really had to give you 1,000 laptops or whatever, 1,000 endpoints. And man, the cost and complexity was just ridiculous.
Absolutely.
So one of the nice things about where we are now in IT is there are Source Labs, and you can spin this up and shut it down and, on an as-needed basis. It's really a beautiful thing.
Makes a big difference.
Sure it does. But what I wanted to talk about a little today was, one of the big concepts in DevOps is shifting left.
Yep.
Right? And we want to shift everything left. Eventually, you got to ask yourself, well, you wind up with everything in a big pile at the left end of the equation.
Yeah.
Or, how do you do this? There's only so much you could shift left without it stepping on each other, right? You can't make wine before it's time.
Absolutely.
So we're, testing, on the other hand, right? You can't test code before code is written. You certainly need to test. You should test code before it's deployed.
Yes.
So that, to me, is the shift left, universe for testing.
Absolutely.
What can we do to get it as close to testing that code as that it's written, without, messing it up?
We've been thinking about this a lot, and where Sauce Labs today, really plays is in the functional testing area, right? End-to-end testing, UI testing, and that's often the first place people think about that. They know that they want to, test before they, merge or on every pull request, and the most natural thing is to set up some functional tests so that you have this iterative, every check-in kind of validation. And so we've been asking ourselves, well, what else would you want as a developer to be validating on every check-in, or on every merge? And there's a few things that have come to our minds. One of the things that we see some of our customers doing is starting to think about performance testing, not so much from a traditional load and stress test perspective, but more from a responsiveness. Like if I go ahead and make this code change to my web app, what's the response of this? Is it going to be is it going to be the same speed? Is it going to be a 2-3 millisecond hit? Or what have you, and if it exceeds a specific threshold, maybe I'll not allow that check-in to occur, that merge to occur. So that's one area that we're seeing more interest. I think another area that we're seeing interest in terms of kind of faster validation as code is written, believe it or not, is accessibility testing. In terms of making sure that the website is accessible to folks with different disabilities. So that's another area. I'm curious, are you seeing other areas that are jumping to your mind?
Biggest area I see it is around security.
I was going to say that's another area that we definitely see.
I mean, we just can't emphasize it enough. And, when we talk about shifting security left, a lot of people think of that traditional AppSec, pen test, code check of security. But really, there's no reason we can't shift left on security in a lot of things in terms of deployment strategies and so forth. The other thing I wanted to talk about was We're here at IBM InterConnect,
Absolutely. Yeah.
right? And one of the big things is Cognizant, Watson, etc. What can we do? What can we do around, or how can we utilize
Hmm.
some of this Cognizant, or if you want to call it Watson, but Cognizant AI to
Yeah.
make our testing better?
Yeah, I think there's a ton of opportunity there.
I think so too.
One of the things that's amazing about DevOps and automated testing is we generate a ton of data, and it's constant. It's unrelenting, you might say. And I think
And
there's
what analysis is
Yeah.
being done, and
Yeah.
how can we apply? I think there's a business here, man.
Yep.
Let's start it right now. The heck with Sauce Labs. Let's get someone else to do DevOps.com. This,
Yeah.
Cognizant testing.
Yeah,
That's-
absolutely. 'Cause I do think that there is just so much data about what tests are passing, what tests are failing. The root cause of that, just the lengths of tests, lengths of builds. I think there's a lot of data that is not being utilized, and I think there's a great opportunity for organizations to do that. We have customers that use our APIs to pull that data down, build their own dashboards, but I don't see very many applying pattern matching or machine learning, different kind of cognitive techniques to getting more usefulness out of that data. So
Sure.
absolutely, I think there's a huge
I think
opportunity
that someone needs to be exploring that.
there. Yep.
Excellent. What else is happening at Sauce Labs?
Well, one of the things that we're really excited about here at InterConnect is all the work that's happening around DevOps and these open pipelines. We're a part of that. We think that especially as new organizations, new teams come into this, and they've got to figure out CI, they've got to figure out automated testing, they've got to figure out spinning up environments, and automating deployment. There's so much to learn, and then you gotta stitch it all together. And we think that that's definitely a barrier that we can help knock down with some of the offerings that IBM has.
Sure.
In terms of open pipelines, choosing the tools that you want, but getting help in bringing them all together and making them easier to use.
I've been talking with a bunch of people, and one of the things I will give, not here to be a fanboy of IBM, but one of the things I'll give them credit for is they really can be rather tool, not cognizant, agnostic. That was the word. Tool agnostic, where they really, look, you want to use Chef instead of Urban Code. You want to use something else instead of that.
Yep.
They're here to help the customer.
Yep.
They offer tools, but they'll use the tools you have as well, and they try to pick, when you look at things like the Blue Mix Garage and stuff like that, they try to pick the right tool for you.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
Not the right tool for them.
It's true, and I think that's a lot of the power of DevOps, of CI and CD, Sauce Labs as well, is that we let you bring your own tooling. Right?
Yeah.
There's a lot of flexibility. Different teams need different things depending on what the types of apps they're building, the skill set they happen to have on the team, what language they want to use. And I think it's really important for all of the vendors in the space to be flexible, to not let people be able to choose the things.
Well, if you have your customer's best interests at heart, I think, and that's what, honestly, one of the principles at Devops.com is, try to be vendor neutral, don't disparage, and we're not here to back any one over the other. We want to educate people to what's out there, make the best choice for them.
Absolutely.
Hey man, Lubak, I want to thank you.
Yeah.
For stopping by. I know you guys are busy on the show floor. Yeah. Sauce Labs here at IBM's InterConnect. Sauce Labs also a member of the DevOps Express. We work pretty closely with them at Devops.com. And thanks for joining us today.
My pleasure, Alan.
All right, this is Alan Schimmel for Devops.com's DevOps TV at IBM InterConnect 2017.